Greetings, Earthlings! Welcome back to my channel, the Only Lauren channel. I am the Lauren worth fighting for. It's the Lauren worth fighting for. So today's lecture is a very soft abstract, and today's topic is the physics of astrology and basically using the scientific method to prove or disprove these points of astrology. And just a little background, although there is research into the fact that astrology works, there is very little known into the physical processes that are happening astrologically. So that's why we're doing an investigation today. And what I'm summing up, what I believe astrology is a mixture of astronomy, psychology, and mathematics, and a dash of ego. We will attempt to break down the process with macro summarizations and huge, and I do mean huge, assumptions. There will likely be components that I didn't realize or see or will think of later on as we go on into this journey. Feel free to take notes, make a diagram, or graph the information as I present it to you, as I will be mixing several different concepts, several different types of physical processes, sciences, technology, language, etymology to relate this information to you. And this is what I like to call quantum intelligence. I actually found out that one of my professors from my department actually wrote a paper on astrology. I could tell by the paper that was written he did not do thorough research. He basically just said what every scientist person who has come across a horoscope or astrology says, that it is just a good coincidence, good timing, and it's great for morale otherwise, which is, even if it's true, it's still true, basically. And no one can give you quantum intelligence better than your local or international Aquarius, a qualitative, a quantum. So, on the day you were born, there were celestial bodies surrounding you in the universe from a geocentric point of the solar system. That's Earth to here, all the other surrounding bodies. I hypothesize that the life that is created on that day, being you, who you are, is the base nature of an atom, like atoms, being your base creation, with the proton, neutron, and electron being the compository of your atom and the nucleus being your life. Despite what they claim, we can infer that atom and Adam are the same, more or less. The combined total energies of the universe was exerted on your body, and obviously you exerted a force back. So to simplify that combination of energies, we'll just talk about how the solar system did that. As each luminary in the sky in the solar system was in a particular spot similar to that of a clock. So like what I'm trying to say here is kind of complicated, so bear with me. So like electricity runs through a computer, right? Well, it runs through the CPU of the computer. It's responsible for processing all the information of the program run by your computer. The speed at which the processor processes this information is called clock speed, also known as gigahertz. Clock speed. Let me call clock speed. This makes the computer come to life, so to say. From then on, you can start to program using binary code, which is ones and zeros, to create programs, and those programs thus forth will create the intricacies of the computer, the input-output function. So, but this is the part you will need to understand. So let me break it down. While you on my stage. I could never do those. When you have an instrument, most like a wind instrument, blowing air through the instrument gives it many different sounds based on the shape of the instrument and the qualities it's made up of. From there, you can play whatever song you like or want, but it's basically up to the musician from there. And to be noted that the word spirit comes from, or the word spirit meaning animated or vital principle in man and animal, from the old French spirit and soul. Body and soul, you got no doubt, inside and now we are whole. No air, body and soul, don't leave me out in the cold. Just love me, body and soul. I did way too much of that. Also from the Latin, spiritus, meaning breath, goal, inspiration, breath of life, disposition, character, high spirit, pride, and courage. And as a bonus, as I was looking this up, I saw that it's from the old church Slavonic pisto, which means playing like a flute. I'm always onto something because I'm always right. Just kidding, you know. But I just make connections and stuff. And just so you know, also ghosts. So in essence, what I believe is happening on the day that you were born is that the sun is blowing a little air, playing its little flutes. But the flute is the other celestial bodies in the solar system. Those notes are being played. They come back to the moon, and the moon bounces it back off and magnifies those signals. This is a form of EM radiation. So like what I mean when I'm talking about the EM radiation, all living organisms exude electromagnetic radiation, but what I'm talking about is the sun via the light is the electromagnetic radiation, microwaves, gamma rays, radio waves, x-rays, blue rays, meta rays, steam rays, Billy rays, Cyrus. And that EM or electromagnetic radiation has to do with the spectroscopy. I got the word right. AKA your chemical compositioning, aka your coloring, aka your race. And with that, the plus your background, which is your family history, aka your family curse or your family course. Curse comes from the etymology of course. But know one thing about me, when it comes to family curses, I ain't going down like that, you heard me? Bees a body. The body, also known as the soul, is the most important part in which the personality will manifest, which means that it is the final definer of the tics that the person will have. It's also where the sun is playing, sending that energy through, playing that flute, that instrument with the brain here sending those signals through the organs, the instrument. Making my way downtown. Oh, I should say, nah, keep on falling. It's the same as I talk about in our astronomical classifications in my series Astroworld. Your chemical makeup, aka your race, and body shape will determine how you exhibit those qualities of your program at the time of your birth. For instance, I'm gonna use myself as an example, because so Black people are lazy, you know, I don't make the rules, okay? I have 7 cardinal signs. Cardinality means movement. I don't use any of them to go hard in the paint, let me work a job type deal. I do, however, in fact, use those cardinal placements to think I will move with the mind really quick. Plus my aqua sun conjunct north node fixed, which equals lazy, but man, can I think. Plus coming from a background of women who have not really lifted a finger, so was kind of groomed to be a princess, as the ascendant says. Plus also coming from a Protestant background, which is extremely important because it removes the shucking and jiving that the traditional Negroes do. It removes the traditional Black talent. So I can't sing, I can't dance. Plus my Mediterranean background makes me not have the traditional Black girl looks. So, you know, the real beautiful ones. Gosh darn, why me? And also it tends to make me more passive. So instead of using that Black people fight, so instead of using that fight on the outside, I use it inward, which creates movement inwards, especially when I'm being like bullied or whatever. So the movement happens inside, and the power doesn't happen externally, it happens internally. And you probably have a similar background of yourself, similar storyline, not like my storyline, but that attributes to the qualities that you have today. That's how my tiny little body made me so fragile and all brain. Anyways, so that's basically what happened. Outside contributing factors determine how you will use that song that was being played on the day you were born. It's a song that'll never end. It just goes on and on, my friend. Some people started. Every little classification on your body will determine what I call, you know, your tics, your behaviors. Everything from your hair color to your eye color to the length of your fingers. The region you were born, also important. Who around you were born. And that was another thing too. When I was like 13, I moved from around whatever. I'm not even getting to that, but my point is it's how you were shaped. Wait a minute, because those are the qualities of your instrument, like being mostly Saturn based. Both me and my brother, I think that if we hadn't had a background of optimistic parents, we would probably be more melancholy born on that day, still on that day. So less optimistic parents equals more melancholy to the person born on that day, much more sadness. So this is the most important part, I think, I don't think not the most important part, but like this is how you'll be able to make the most out of, you know, your natal chart, this astrology, and the person of who you are that was born on that day. You must be able to calibrate. This is the essence of Mars in Capricorn training. You have to will what you have to you. Pluto plus Taurus equals Capricorn. And follow the clock. And just as some footnotes to add to how more of this stuff works, the difference between you and a computer and a robot and a car, different technologies. A computer doesn't feel, henceforth it is stationary. Robot hasn't quite mastered the 2-footed standing on 2 feet like a person. A car, so powerful, but yet but uses fuel like us, and liquid power it like water, still needs a person behind the engine. So just as a little ad theory, if a robot could use fluid in its parts, then it would most likely be a humanoid. And more footnotes, plants and animals are separate versions of us and the stars, where they are like, the plants are the stabilizing forces, the plants and trees are the stabilizing forces, like the planets planted via their gravity and magnitude. Animals are tiny little satellites here walking on Earth. Their molds are what we can use to better our technology advancement. And I think that's it. I probably definitely left something out as I slowly and literally digressed into what I thought wasn't the best example in the world, but I hope you can get it. Anyways, like this video and subscribe to my channel because I can use the subscriptions. And whatever I usually say here, it's gonna come up in the thing. And subscribe. Bye, Earthlings.